Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ground Level Theology. We are here in season two. With me, as always, is the co host to Ground Level Theology, David Hoffman. David, welcome back.
What's up? We need like the beep, 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 like that cool sound. Like, what's up? Air horn.
Yeah,
Back for more.
season two is beginning, and we are really excited. I'm in a new room since, I am now married to my wife, and there's just been a lot of changes. Dave and I have had about a month off because we scheduled things properly. You guys have felt like we have not had an episode for a week, but we've actually been off for a month.
Yeah.
We do aim to have that in the future. By the way, just as sort of an introduction to season two, we will be breaking up segments. We've been kind of going back and forth between what we want to do and also getting your input in. And I think what we've kind of found as a Goldilocks zone was if we just break up very long parts, maybe into 1 or 2 weeks, more specifically into 2 weeks, then you guys would be a lot better with that. So that's what we're gonna do. And so this will probably be a two-parter. Now, I'm sure you're getting ready for that what today's episode is about. And that's going to be a little bit of explanation too. I kind of wanted to field
Surprise.
some topics here, and we're going to
Yeah.
be covering some topics. Some of them I've already talked to Dave. We've agreed some of the stuff that we're going to say is enough to take on a episode in and of itself. So we're
Yeah.
gonna try and be good and move over some, and some of them we're gonna jump into. Now today we are gonna play a game actually. So this first episode is David and I playing a game, and I got this idea from none other than Michael Knowles. You all know that we interact with him, and we don't hate him. We do
Mm-mm.
enjoy some of his content, but he has
Like
something
games.
called the yes no game, and they do it in a drinking way, taking a sip and enjoying each other's company. But I thought, it'd be really fun to do the yes no game in some different form where David and I can play this game about
Well,
theology.
if we were both Presbyterians, we could, keep it the same. No, I'm just playing.
So
I'm playing.
So we're playing this game, and this game is a game not to be confused with the what is it, the marriage game?
Oh, like a match game or whatever.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
match
where
game or something like that, where what we're trying to do is figure out the correct answer for the other person. It's This is not a test of how well we know each other. In
because
fact,
that would
it's
be so easy. We would
yeah.
win.
In fact, it's kind of good when we don't know and we guess right or wrongly. So we will be stating these questions, or actually, we'll be giving these statements, and the object is for myself to answer what I think Dave thinks. Now, yeah,
Ooh, like all
and
on Spotify, you don't say I'm doing all the weird, telekinesis.
so when
I'm
I
thinking
say
of a peanut.
yes, what I am saying is yes, David would agree with that statement. And
Hmm.
he likewise might say no, and he would
Oh
say
no,
no,
Mike, no
Mike
way.
would not agree with that statement. And so thus begins the rub. This is the point at time when we reveal which one is correct, which one is wrong, and then we have to justify ourselves.
Mm. Do you want to play a game? Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yes.
this is gonna be real fun. You guys will get the gist of it pretty quickly. I just wanted to explain that off the top. And we're gonna try and do this all audio wise because when you're doing it on YouTube, you can kind of see the yes or no, but we're gonna try and do this audio wise. That way, our folks on Spotify can follow along just as easily. So let's go ahead and begin. Uh,
No.
we're gonna begin with the spicy one here. We're gonna go in
Oh
right off
yeah.
the top. Uh, the King James Version only people are a cult. All right, Dave. Let me
Oh
take a sec
well.
to.
What would Mike think? Hmm.
um.
KJV only people.
Okay. I got my answer. What do you think? Do you got an answer ready?
Oh, this is. This is not fun anymore. It's just like we didn't even get started. I'm like, oh man.
I think I have my answer for you. I think I know. I think I know what you would say.
I think I know what you would say too.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get it started first, and then you just immediately say
Okay.
it. So
What's my answer?
I'm gonna say you would say no.
Huh.
Okay, okay. What do you think I would say?
I think you would say no too.
Okay. All right. All right.
I was just messing with you.
Really? Okay. What do you think? It's a yes or a no?
For you, I think
Yeah.
you'd say no.
Okay.
And for me, I think you were right
You
in
would say
saying no.
no?
I would say no. A
Okay.
lot of
I would
nuances.
actually say yes.
Okay. Okay. This is why we're playing the game.
Yeah.
Nuances. Okay.
Okay. All
Why
right.
would you say yes?
Okay. So I have met people who are so King James only that they absolutely reject all other translations as heretical. So they would take the ESV
Okay.
heresy. And then
Hmm.
not only would they say that the King James Version is the only authorized version that we should be reading, whether you enjoy it or can even understand it, but I've actually met people also that would justify it to the point at which they would say that the extra verses of the King James Version that we all know about that were added on are inspired as well. And so all other translations have taken it out. And so they would actually judge other translations with the Revelation passage. If you take that out, you're cursed. And so they get
Hmm.
really, really that hardcore about it to the point where, some people have said you idolize the text. And I think King James Version only people have gone to that place. Now, don't say people that love King James Version or will only read
Like a
that,
preference. Yeah,
yeah,
that's one thing.
are cultic. But I do think that there's certainly a time in which some people have crossed the line and it's gotten culty.
Yeah. 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 If the KJV was good enough for Paul, it's good enough for me.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I am a no. A lot of nuances though.
yeah. And
I,
that's
I
that's gonna be the funny thing about today.
that's the best part about these questions, y'all. It's to encourage that. I would say no,
Okay.
simply like I might emphasize, hey, maybe you are overemphasizing. Like, are you teaching the traditions of man as
Hmm.
the teachings of God?
Yeah,
And like you might need to be careful there of like not
yeah,
overemphasizing something where it's like, okay, you are now taking a preference that you are allowed to have, and you are now like, but if you're not going to read this translation, like that's
yeah,
where it is like a slippery slope where you are being cultic if
yeah,
you're like, this is the only way. And especially when it comes to, this is the other nuance, when it comes to English translations of the Hebrew and Greek Bible.
yeah.
Okay, the Bible is comprised of Hebrew and Greek. So it's like, if you're saying that the King James is the only correct English translation, uh, you have a right to that opinion.
Well,
I
see,
feel
that's
like,
the funny thing too, because the
that's
King
like saying like this is
James
the only.
is the second
Yeah.
or third translation
Oh
into
yeah, because like,
English. I mean,
right.
you have the Geneva Bible
I mean,
that
Geneva, and
predates,
you got
that's the
Tyndale,
most
and you got
popular one, yeah.
Wycliffe. Yeah,
So, I
exactly.
mean, there is a faithful version pre-King James, and
Right.
that is acknowledged. But it's just the obsession with this, and maybe you ran across a little bit less hardcore, but it's just I have met some pretty staunch King James version only
Yeah,
people where I'm just like this is kind of culty,
well, like,
guys.
well,
Like
because
I
what
think
because
you
what
got
makes
a
a
little
cult a
bit too
cult,
far
right?
here.
And that's like maybe a different question. Yeah, like what
Yeah.
makes a cult a cult? Is it just like, okay, they really have like this one distinctive that they
Hmm.
are just like putting their, because, and I'm trying to be careful here where it's like, if you're going KJV only as a cult, are certain sects of charismatics or Pentecostalism cults because maybe they might be overemphasizing gifts?
Oh
Or
man.
am I a cult because I might, am I overemphasizing like expository preaching? or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
So I
I'm
do
trying
feel
to
like
think like
there
is
is
it a
some
nope?
point, especially in the charismatic movement that has gone cultish. What's very fascinating is a lot of cults like to derive their base from Christianity.
Yeah,
So it's really
100%.
weird because they will claim that they are like Jesus or they are the Messiah or they are the one who breaks the seals,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
And that's derived from Christian theology, right? And so they're taking the base of their cult from that. I always find it really fascinating because it's like if you read the Bible, how would you come across to that conclusion, right? Like not even as a person who says, "Hey, I'm Jesus. Everyone needs to worship me." I'm saying as a follower, if you're reading the Bible, how do you come to the same conclusion? But that's a whole different thing. And
Yeah,
honestly, that could be its own episode. I think that would be a really good episode with,
that might be fun. Well, and
are
yeah,
charismatic or
ooh,
are these reformed? Are these, is this specific denomination a cult?
because
Um,
of what we emphasize, you know.
yeah.
Uh, and I'm always
So,
and well, we have a couple questions come like a couple questions from now. I'm also
yeah,
gonna like I don't want to be the guy like, oh, if you're KJV only, like you're a cult.
yeah.
Um, but I also know like, hey, it's good to have a filter with certain when it comes to certain translations. And so,
Right.
not to show my hand, but it's like I understand having like, is this one with does this one have more errors, or is there a certain style that
Hmm.
like maybe you should prefer it over others? That's one thing, definitely. Like, hey, you should have that filter. But like, what was the question? And it was like, if you're only this, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, dude, now you're teaching something that like the Bible is like doesn't necessarily condemn.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can
Alrighty.
see. Are we both right? Like
I
that's the fun part of these
I
questions.
mean, I don't really think that there's a
I
real
don't know.
answer to
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Okay, yeah,
So
we're
I
good.
that's the funny thing about these questions that we're gonna have today, folks, is
You
I mean,
guys,
this is the
you
first
let
one
us
and
not
we're
know.
already here.
Yeah.
So
Oops.
so
We started strong.
we purposely, I mean, we came forward with these questions together, and we purposely chose ones that would spark these conversations. I'm starting to realize maybe we chose too good of ones, but
I
we're gonna
guess
keep
that was
going
number
on,
one.
guys. Let's keep trudging along. All right,
All right.
this one, oh man. Okay, so this one. Here's
Nuance
the
Central,
statement.
baby.
Ready? I think aliens, extraterrestrial green beings, actually exist.
I knew it. Just kidding.
I know, so that
I know.
I should really like maybe we should not even release this because so many people can just clip me reading these statements.
Yeah, no. This is gonna
Like,
be
hey,
good though,
he
y'all. This is
said it.
gonna
Look,
help
you
us out.
cannot.
Hashtag aliens. Hashtag ancient aliens
All right,
exist.
all right.
He said, all right. What do I think you would say?
I think I have an
I
answer,
don't know.
anyways. I think I
I
have an
think I know
answer.
your answer too. Easy
Okay,
peasy.
I'm gonna say you would say no.
I'm gonna say you would say no,
Okay,
but
that's correct. Yeah, I would say
okay,
no.
cool. I'm all day, all
All
caps. No.
right. So,
However, right? But
yeah, all
like,
right. So let's talk about this real quick because
no.
I think we might differ a little bit. Now, when it
Okay.
comes to aliens, I believe that aliens, that is extraterrestrial green beings. I'm not talking about people who come across into our country without the proper authority. Not talking about those types of aliens.
Yeah, those are
And
people.
yeah,
Yeah.
those are people. There's a bunch of other ways you could define aliens. No, I'm really talking about ET. That those green things that we're talking about. So extraterrestrial green beings or extraterrestrial beings in general. So when I say that, that's what I'm talking about. I think they could exist. I don't have anything against that. Most people will
Sorry.
take that they are demons. And I just say that I leave open the possibility for them existing, and it would not affect our theology and Christian theology at all, because it didn't
Mm.
say that God stopped creating, but our Bible is specifically a salvation historical account for us. And
Mm.
so, if we do in the future, through our exploration of space or telescopically or something, come to find out or encounter that there are intelligent beings on other worlds, that is not a proof that God does not exist. In fact, that might be just further proof that God is creating and does exist. And so I leave
Dude, I'm
open
gonna
the
get my tinfoil
possibility.
hat on, dude. What is wee? This is
I leave
cuckoo. I'm
open the
listening.
possibility, but I will
Yeah.
also say this. In reality,
Okay.
I don't
In
think
reality,
I don't
though.
think they're out there. I don't think they're out there. I don't
Okay.
think we're gonna find anything out there.
I love how
But
the philosophical is wide open.
I do like to leave the caveat
Yeah.
that I do think it is possible and it would not break our theology.
Interesting.
David, you
I
said
literally
no. I
possible. I
know you're
did
gonna
say
be a
no.
little bit more hardlined on this one. I don't think
Yeah.
you're gonna agree with me.
No, yeah. No, I don't think they exist. I think demons exist, and I think
Hmm.
even taking, like, just say, taking on the form of an angel of light. That, I
Yeah,
mean, they can just, that, they're not always creepy crawly beings with fanged teeth.
yeah,
That they can take on. They can look like nice people. I mean, like they're deceptive, and so they can take on even to deceive. Because that's what they do. They
yeah,
don't love God, and they don't love people that love God. So they're going to follow their master, which is Satan, and who's a great liar and hates everything that is good and all those things. And I think about the reason why we label them extraterrestrial or green beings or all these things. I don't even question whether people have seen, what they would call UFO or
right,
seen these beings. I think they're misidentifying what
yeah,
these beings are.
yeah,
And then I also like, and just real quick, thinking
mhm.
about what you said, the hypothet, like, I don't even say hypothetical. If it were to be possible, I don't think it is possible personally, because I think it would. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just saying if it would mess with my theology, because I know if extraterrestrials were to exist, it's not that it's not that the Bible would have to talk about them, because people are like, what about the dinosaurs? It's like it says creeping things,
Yeah,
and they're kind of creepy. Like,
right,
and I'm not trying to spread it or shortchange it either, but I'm thinking, if extraterrestrials did exist and they're not demons,
right,
and then I don't know if they're not made in the image of God necessarily,
hmm,
because we're made in the image of God and they're
yeah,
not human.
I agree.
And then I also, they wouldn't be mentioned about, at least in our Bible, because our Bible talks about God's plan of redemption for His image bearers,
Right,
which means there would be no, I don't say no need to redeem them, but we wouldn't know about their plan of redemption.
right.
And if it was the same as ours, then they must be human too, because you would need an extraterrestrial mediator.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to be all philosophical, but
No,
that's the
no,
beauty
no,
of
not at all.
Christ, right? That you have God and man as our mediator, and you would need, like, not ET and deity, but I just know, or I'm just thinking with what we have, at least in our scriptures.
Yeah,
And honestly, this is why we joke around with the possibility, like just humoring it,
right.
because, like, if you found something that talked that way, like a document, you'd be like, this is not the inerrant word of God. And I'm going to be
Right.
like, so I appreciate you trying to, like, be fun and, like, because, like, you
Well,
know what
see,
I mean?
that's
Like,
the funny thing. Like, Craig, Dr.
but I'm
William
like,
Lane Craig, he does leave open that possibility, but
interesting.
even says that if we do stumble across that, and like let's just say that they are image bearers or something that
Sure.
did sin and need redemption themselves, that the second person of the Trinity, the divine Logos, could actually incorporate and save them in
Oh, by nature of
their
being
own way.
yeah,
Yeah,
by
and
nature of
so
being an image bearer, and, like, nature, like, well,
yeah,
I'm saying all these nature words,
right.
like, by your nature, you're an image bearer, which means you need a mediator, which means you're in sin,
Yeah.
and so you need
And
the first Adam
so
or second Adam.
the divine
I
Logos
got you.
could be corporeal and do a plan of redemption with them as well and fulfill that. And so he leaves that open in a more robust way than I do.
Hmm.
I
Because I'm
say
only thinking about animals too, like,
yeah.
animals were not, he did not die for
Hmm.
them. though. You know
Yeah,
what I
and
mean? So I'm trying
that's
to
kind of where I'm at with it, because
like,
like
are they animals? Are
beings
they
can be
beings? Yeah,
intelligent without being made in the image of God and having souls and stuff like
dolphins.
that. It's like I
Yeah,
just think if there's aliens out there, it's gonna be something along those lines, and so
but are they
um
going to take over? Is that how the rapture is going to happen? War of the
depends on
Worlds
what movie you watch,
Yeah,
depends
it depends on what movie.
on
Hey, there you go.
But
It's
you
a no
did
for
bring
me though.
something up too. If we're defining aliens as extraterrestrial, just period, right? Demons,
Oh, true.
angels, and God himself all fall under that category. Which is why I'm saying like the
Right.
definition game is really kind of pivotal when you
Yeah.
come to here. That's why I said
Yeah.
extraterrestrial, green, like little or big beans. That's
Like
what we're talking
signs,
about.
you need a
Yeah.
bat. Okay.
But
Like,
I do think when it comes to UFO sightings and all that other stuff, 100% demons. So like, I mean, we're pretty much
okay.
the
Yeah.
same in our theology and what we think. I just leave open the possibility just so that if anyone encounters it, just so you know, it doesn't break our
God's
theology.
still real. Yeah.
It's still
Christianity's
possible.
still the thing.
Yeah.
So repent.
So
I got you. I like that angle. I
yeah.
understand that angle now where it's like, okay, I'm
I'm a bit
probably
too
like, no.
much of a realist for the people that enjoy the idea of aliens being out there
You
because I'm like they
see,
probably don't
Michael.
exist.
Yeah, yeah. But I do appreciate it's like, but you know what? Let me be provocative. I'm gonna stay a statement. Let's say they are
Yeah.
true. Well, you still can't write off Christianity,
Right.
and so I got you now.
Yeah.
Right on.
All right.
Number three, dude. Let's go.
Third question. Oh my
Oh,
goodness, dude.
dude, these are
I thought we were
pure.
gonna be tracking along a little bit faster, but this is all good.
Sorry.
You know what? I have a feeling everyone is just thoroughly enjoying this right now, so we're gonna keep on keeping
Sure
on,
hope so.
as Joe Dirt would say. Uh,
Yeah. Come on, man.
all right, here we go. Third question. Jesus would befriend racists.
Ooh,
That's a heavy one. And what's funny
ooh.
is I've actually seen this in apologetic videos, like I think on campuses, but I
Me
think
too.
this was actually done.
Yep.
I think this was actually asked to a politician recently too. I can't remember,
Mm.
but I remember hearing it recently, and so
Yes, sir.
it's sort of a trap, right? That's always being set. So
Yeah.
I
All these
think
are traps, okay? Like,
yeah, I think I have my answer with yours. Do you have your answer for mine?
Well, I don't know, you humored
Dun,
aliens, so
dun,
now I'm
dun,
gonna,
dun, dun,
no,
dun,
okay,
dun,
everyone's gonna think when
dun.
I say you humor aliens that you now are like, trying to send messages to the mothership. He
I
was
send them
being,
jokes. I
yeah, I
humor
said
aliens.
roast them, send them memes. No, okay, yeah, I think I have uh your
How is it
answer.
like to lose on Independence Day? Just
Oh,
kidding.
that's so great.
Okay,
No,
you have your answer?
for you, and yeah.
All right. So I
Okay.
think you would say yes.
Hmm.
What do you think I would say?
I keep throwing you off with the hmms. Sorry,
Yeah,
I all these are nuance. I
yeah.
think you would say yes too.
Okay. All right. So you are correct. Am I correct?
Yes, you are
All right.
correct.
So I'll go
Dude,
ahead
I'm the
and
grace
justify
guy,
my
man.
yeah.
I'm the grace guy. Come
I'm gonna
on.
justify myself with this. Let me hit it with this.
Boom.
Jesus brought in the zealot and the tax collector.
Oh, let's
So
go.
he
Dang it,
brought
you
in the
took my
person that would
yeah.
kill a Roman person because of their oppression,
Yeah.
and the person who collects money for the Roman
The
people.
oppressor. The
Yeah.
oppressed and the
So
oppressor. Same dinner.
to put it
Oh.
this way, I think Jesus would befriend the racist. I'll even call him the KKK member,
Mm-hmm.
and in the same group as a disciple and future apostle of the entire church, a Black Lives Matter person. They would be in the same group and they would call each
Mm.
other brothers
They
because as
should.
Christians, they would put out all those walls. So both of them would need to change and understand there's no more Greek or Jew, slave
Mm.
nor free, Gentile nor Jew. So it's like, I think he would befriend a racist. I don't know how much longer he will be racist after
Yeah,
that.
yeah. He probably wouldn't stay a racist
Yeah.
because you can't be a friend, like
Right.
But you come as you are, but you don't go out the same.
Exactly.
Uh,
We're all called to change. That's one of the things that's
he never
like,
stopped changing. I'm
yeah,
always pursuing Christ
absolutely.
likeness,
I am
right?
always conforming more and more to Christ every day.
Hopefully. Yeah, I hope so. Like that's the goal. Yeah.
All right, do you
Mm.
I have a feeling you're gonna say pretty much along the same lines. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree because I have to, and think about Paul, right? Paul
Mhm.
was an oppressor. I mean, he was
Yeah,
on
that's
his
a good one.
like we joke around like when I joke around about free will and stuff because you take it in stride and I poke about well because I have a T-shirt that
Mhm.
y'all this in ecumenical fun, okay, that I have a T-shirt that says it's Paul on the front and it's like the bright light and he's on the ground, uh, and so it's like his conversion experience
Yeah.
from Acts. And but he's like, so there I was on my way to kill more Christians when I decided to make a free will decision and become one, which is, and I'm
Yeah.
poking. Uh,
Right.
but it's like, yeah, what radical change, right? Like, what happens in a person's life where you go from like, like, I'm going to go kill Christians and bring them in, and I hope they die because it's heresy kind of thing, to I've encountered the risen Lord and like I am for him now. I've been
Yeah.
persecuting him and he let me live and like all these things. And so I think that's a prime example, right, of Christ encountered someone who was directly persecuting him, right? He's like,
Mhm.
why are you persecuting me? And he changes him, gives him grace. And then it's amazing. Paul doesn't stay the same anymore, does he? He he he
Yeah.
he changes. He doesn't stay the oppressor, right? He doesn't stay, or like if you were like, oh, you're in the KKK, you don't stay the racist if you've really encountered Christ. Um,
But Dave,
uh,
Jesus loves
you're not
me
supposed.
for as I am. That's
He
a bit of a
loves
statement
you,
in and of itself.
just like that is. Uh, he loves you as his creation, and you're in his image. He would really love you more if. No, I'm just kidding. No,
He would
like
really
yeah,
love you more if you
yeah.
weren't the person that put him on the cross in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. And we do know, right? Because Paul tells us we know what love is. What is love? Not only is love a person, three persons, but love we is displayed in Christ in Paul telling us that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us.
Right.
That while we were enemies of God by nature, children of wrath, even, that he died for us and reconciled us to the Father. And so it's like if he can love me that way and see me in that light at my worst,
Hmm.
then yeah, like how is he going to see me when I'm his bride now? I've been converted. I believe in him. I'm reconciled. I'm a child of God. I'm adopted. Like
Yeah.
it's different and not different all at the same time because he had to see me that way when I wasn't that way. Um, he's like he saw me how he saw just like when you get married, you see your bride for everything that she is and what she's going to be even
Hmm.
down the line, and you want that now. And so I think similar way. And so
Yeah.
he sees the person, hey, you are in bondage to sin. You're a racist now, but not when I'm done with you.
Yeah.
Like when I
I
get
mean,
a
mind
hold of
you.
my
Yeah.
hands on you, you are going to be so different in a great holy way,
Yeah. I mean,
you
mind
know?
you,
So
when he appears to whoever that racist is, he is going to be a Middle Eastern man, of Jewish descent. You know,
yeah.
it's like,
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Any anti-Semitics out there? Oh, you're
so
listening. Just saying.
yeah, the first thing you are confronted with is that the one whom you call Lord and Savior is that, right?
Right.
And so, you know, I think if people responded to yes in the affirmative of come and follow me, I mean, they're going to be met first with that obstacle, and then the more that they are with him, the more he's going to change and not be that racist anymore. So,
Right.
yeah,
Or
I
could
think
you?
I
Yeah.
think Jesus would befriend anyone. I mean, it's sort of a
No one
trap,
is
right?
beyond
Do
saving,
you
right?
think
That's the
Jesus
whole point.
would hang out or be with this person? Oh, you are agreeing with you are promoting this thing. And so when they say, "Oh, do you think Jesus would be befriend a racist?" Yeah, I do think. Let me stop you from explaining yourself. You think
Yeah.
racism is okay. You think
Yeah.
it like
No.
Jesus like wants that. Like no. Jesus befriended tax collectors and sinners and prostitutes, and he said, "Go and sin no more."
Yeah.
Right? So Jesus is
Exactly.
going to befriend anyone
Well, that's what
so
I'm
that
saying.
he
Like,
can bring them to his image and so that they don't stay who they were or how
right.
he met them. He wants them to be his image bearer.
Well,
And so
like
there's
think
going to be a
about
lot
it.
of change.
Like, and well, it is like all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. If Jesus only dies for people he approves of, he would die for no one.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole
That's a
point.
fact right there.
All have sinned and fall short.
Yep.
So no one is worthy of being saved, but
Hmm.
we are made worthy in being saved. And so it's it should be humbling and it's grace. I can't be grace for me and justice for you. That's why Paul could say, "Hey, I'm chief among sinners, and therefore I'm like the fittest almost to preach grace because I know what grace is because
Yep.
I didn't get what I deserved and I got mercy, and now I'm
Amen.
going to live all out for him." And so I don't racism's not okay. Jesus does not think it's okay,
Correct.
but he wouldn't like we're all sinners. So
Yeah.
he would end up not dying for anyone or befriending anyone if, you know. And so just because I sin differently, that's another thing too. Just because we sin differently than someone else doesn't make us more worthy of being saved.
Hmm.
Well, I'm just a liar. He was a murderer. It's like wages of sin is death. All right. I understand there's like different levels of heinousness, but they all deserve the same penalty. Uh, I understand, death. And so it is not. And I guess you could say, with Jesus, like, well, what if you have the guys like, what about the Antifa protester? That's, even if they have originally a just motive, is that how you execute it and live it out? And it's like, yo, like, and I'm saying, Jesus ain't gonna say yo, but it's like you had a zealot and a tax, like they
Yeah.
should have been at each other's throats, right?
Yeah.
And they are
I mean,
reconciled.
the
And so
that Antifa member is just a modern parallel to that zealot.
100% zealous for you know, what is right, or at
Yep.
least perceived. No, I'm not going to get into all the ins and outs of it, but I just
Right.
know, like,
But
hey,
Jesus would die for them.
yeah, and Jesus, or like, and zealots weren't completely wrong, right? Like Rome was oppressing them,
Right.
and they didn't like that, so I don't blame them. And
Mm.
so I'm trying to find that balance of, hey, when you remember the doctrine of forgiveness and reconciliation, and that if we can be reconciled to Christ and our Father, if you're really a Christian, it means you're going to try to be reconciled.
Right.
Um, that doesn't always happen with our enemies, but we are supposed to love them and pray for them. So,
Yeah.
ding ding. Yeah, I
All
think
right.
Jesus would befriend them. They wouldn't stay racist. Okay.
Yeah, I think we agree on that one. All right.
Number four. We're only three deep. Okay.
Number
Cool.
4. Ancient Israelites thought the earth was flat.
Oh, I don't even know. I don't even know on this one. You know, like,
I'm
how would
pretty
you
sure
answer?
you're a no. What do you think I am?
Well, there's possibility. I'm just, okay. In practicality, I think you would be a no. Also,
Yeah,
it doesn't
that's
really
correct.
matter what they
I think
thought.
I think
I'm just
I think
kidding.
I think we're both right. I
I
mean, you
think you
got
would
mine
know.
right. Did I get yours
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
I mean, you have Job in Genesis, right? He suspends the earth on nothing, and
yeah.
I guess, and he talks about spheres. So I'm not
Yeah,
trying
the
to.
spheres. I mean, this was actually a fun one just because, it depends kind of on who you talk to. You really have to be understanding that when you get into the academic mind, sometimes you're not only engaging with what is correct in reality, but also what we think the psychology or the mindset of the ancient Israelite was, as wrong as they might have been, right? In
Hmm.
reality, um,
That's still what they were
but
thinking at
what
the
they
time.
thought,
Yeah.
right? And so that doesn't mean that God is wrong when he writes this stuff, and especially when they're writing poetically about their God. But we sort of get into this. That being said, I still don't think that the ancient Israel actually thought that the earth was like a piece of paper, flat. It's like,
Yeah, like that's the edge of the world over there, Christopher
yeah,
Columbus.
I think we still speak in these terms of four corners of the earth, right? Or north, south, east, west.
Hemispheres,
We
right?
still refer to things like that, sort of in a flat manner, because we still perceive the world in that way. There's a horizon, there is an end to what I can see. That doesn't mean that there is an end, it just continues to curve. I never reach the horizon, but I still speak that way, right?
Right.
And so I think that's what's going on in scripture. And like, Dave just said it with Job, and it does speak of spheres too. And so I just, I just think that's wrong.
We all know what a sphere is, right?
Right.
just gonna put that out
Can
there.
you define that theological word for us? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, because that's why you have some people that are like, it's a dome, where it's like, why you can feel like
Oh
it's a
yeah.
sphere, but it's not really. But I'm not in some snow globe, okay? Hey, he holds the whole world in his hands. It doesn't matter if it's flat or round. It's in his hands.
He's
What does
got the
that mean? But
whole world.
yeah. So I think that was an easy one.
Yeah,
If you're all
yeah.
really interested in this, you want to go down the rabbit hole. Oh gosh,
Oh yeah.
there's
I
stuff
mean, that's what I'm
everywhere,
saying.
but
Some
I'm
some
not
of
doing
these
that here.
really are things that just we could, and some of these are things that we will tackle in the future. Um, this is just an interesting one because, a lot of people still think that, yeah, ancient Israelites really did think that, and I just don't think that that's true.
I politely,
All right,
respectfully
here's an
disagree.
easy one. Pepsi
Well, we'll
is
see.
better than Coke. I think you have enough sense to say that that's a no.
Hmm. Hmm. I'm going no. Yeah. I don't. As I turn around my Coca-Cola hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
Not
how
fair.
you can drink that garbage. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's
Yeah. A
yeah.
Coca-Cola.
You know what's funny about this question? I mean,
I
we
love
sort of
that
have this
cocaine.
as a little like as a lighter question, but you know what really sealed the deal on me just like not drinking Pepsi and just exclusively drinking Coke? Because if I go to a restaurant and I say I'll have a Coca-Cola, and they say is Pepsi fine, I'll say no, that's okay, I'll just drink water.
Hmm.
And I've done
Yeah.
that multiple, and people think that's a bit pretentious, but like no, I really just drink Coke. Like that when I
Yeah.
want it, that's the thing that I want. I'll drink
Yeah. All right.
different combinations of other things, but when it comes to Pepsi itself versus Coke, I'll just drink Coke.
And this is not Pepsi products. This is
Yeah,
Pepsi
this is
and
Pepsi.
Coca-Cola.
The
Okay.
reason why I am that way is because when I was younger, I noticed a distinct difference in advertising. Pepsi is always attacking Coke, saying it's better, it's more hip, it's all this other stuff. Coke is
Ah,
exclusively saying, enjoy Coke, be
have a polar
happy.
bear. Yeah.
We enjoy the holidays, we enjoy all this. So it was really just actually seeing the advertising difference that Pepsi is attacking, right? They're
Mm,
mocking the other advertising. There's someone that's just never letting it go and constantly saying,
mm.
"Look, we're better."
We're
And then
better, I
Coke,
swear. Just try
not
it.
even really addressing it. They're just like, "Just enjoy our product. We love you guys." And
Mm.
so I was like, "You know what? I'm only gonna drink Coke."
Yeah, Mountain Dew Baja Blast, different story.
Yeah.
Pepsi,
I'll
Coke,
drink Pepsi
Dr.
products,
Pepper
but I
all day.
won't drink Pepsi.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, no for you. Good. No, no for me. 100%. You're
Yeah.
on the money, and I'm gonna try to limit it to 5 reasons.
Okay.
Um, no, one, so
For
many
the
reasons.
rest of
Like
the podcast.
I know. So Coca-Cola. Yeah. One, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Like who doesn't like that? Like it tastes better, but also it's cheaper. Um, I do like how you brought up like I mean you have Santa Claus on a Harley for the holidays. You have a polar bear.
hmm
Okay. Um, I also enjoy, well I love NASCAR. So Coca-Cola 600, Charlotte, North Carolina. It's so good. It's on Memorial Day weekend. You got Lee Greenwood singing "You're Proud to Be an American" with Black Hawk helicopters. Woo! Coca-Cola. Delicious. I also let's see. I already said it tastes better, right? This was
Yeah.
supposed to be an easy
Yeah.
one, but I'm like, no, we're gonna go to. You go to a nice gas station. You want a Slurpee? You want an icy? What flavor? They don't have Pepsi
They don't
flavor.
have
They don't
Pepsi.
have cherry Pepsi flavor. Got Coca-Cola. Then you mix it with the white cherry, and you get the cherry Coca-Cola.
Oh
Come on,
man.
everybody,
Yeah.
get on our level. So
It's too good.
Coca-Cola, I mean,
All the way.
all day. Uh, it's just that red can. What's not to love?
Yeah.
Mm.
Alrighty. All right, let's get back on track here. We did an easy
Oh, we
one.
were on track. Yeah,
Yeah. All right.
and
All right.
that.
It's a so sixth question.
Oh, this is fun.
The Message translation is a good translation.
I'm not hiding my face. I'm gonna give away any answers. Sorry. Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna go.
Oh, don't
I
go
don't know if you
nothing.
I you you I don't know if you have your answer. I'm gonna say a
Like
qualified yes.
for me,
Yes, for you. You would say yes. But like I feel
you're
like you would
good
nuance
guy.
this one.
Oh, for you, I'm
Yeah.
going. For you, I'm going qualified. Yes.
Okay. All right. So for
Are we
you,
both wrong?
yeah, you got it wrong. I would say
Okay,
no.
perfect.
Did I get yours wrong?
Yes, I'd say no
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
It's not good at all. It causes more confusion
Okay.
than helps. It's so it's English, but it ain't English, man. Okay. And
Okay.
hey,
I
yeah.
was thinking in your mind you would I mean we all have said this. I still believe it.
Oh.
The best Bible translation is the
Oh.
one that you read, right?
Yeah,
And
I
so
know. I didn't practice what I preached, y'all. I'm so sorry. Do as I say, not as I do.
I would just say even still this is how much I feel about the message. I would not recommend the message. I would if you feel that way about the message, I would recommend the NLT. Like
100%.
don't
Still
don't read the
finished
message
the
because the message is more of a commentary than it is a translation. Like even an amplified version might be a little bit better because
better.
when you
Yeah.
read amplified, you know that the message is sort of deceiving and that it's putting itself forward as something like the NLT when it's not. It's more like an
Yeah.
amplified. It's more of like, here is me restating the Bible in my specific theology, how I interpret passages, and I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna translate, quote unquote, translate this in a way that I want you to read, or how I would read the Bible to you, how I would rephrase the Bible to you. That's the message translation. And so I'm just like, I don't know. I think we should just stay away from the message.
I know. Well, and I try to like be careful, like not to be overly judgmental. Like, well,
Right.
one, Eugene Peterson, God rest his soul, but he was from Maryland too, so it's kind of fun.
Oh,
Um, but
those
yeah,
Maryland people, man.
I know,
I'm
and
kidding.
it's well, there's a couple red flags. Eugene Peterson helped write the message. His wife was a pastor of another church
Mm,
in the same area.
okay.
So like, even if like not all the nuances, but just like
Right.
I'm not going to discount like credit this guy just because of like all those things, but that when you're allowing your theology to impact the translation, that obviously that happens, but it's when you're like really trying to go at it one-sided. And I've read it, and
Yeah.
like
I
I'm
have it
not
on
trying to
my
like
shelf.
I'm the seminarian, but like it confuses me.
Right.
Like when you say winged one, just it's an angel. He's an angel. It's an angel. The angels are singing,
Yeah.
not the winged ones. And or like I like it, or covenant keeper, as opposed to saying all caps Lord. And I'm like,
Right.
well, that's what like just like tell people like, hey, when you see all caps Lord, it means Yahweh. It's His covenant name, okay?
Yeah.
Like, and so when I'm hearing, and I'm like, you're thinking like, oh, the lists of the names of God, covenant keeper. Like, it's not wrong, right? It's just
Right.
confusing, or it's more work sometimes. It's like almost like the message is trying to make it simpler, and the irony is that by trying to be simple, you made some things harder.
Yeah.
And so it's the irony for me sometimes too.
This is kind of a funny thing. My dad, he said he was listening to a sermon. I don't know if it was on the radio or something. And it was this passage, and he was like, that's I don't remember that part. And
Uh,
and this pastor, and I think he said it was like a Hillsong pastor or something,
oh,
or
just kidding.
something.
Those
But it was
pastors are
like
real pastors? Yes, no?
that's later.
Another time.
I'm just kidding. That's a different question.
Yeah, totally different.
No, but he was listening to this, and he thought that like what this pastor was camping on, he didn't remember where that was in the Bible, so he just thought that was really interesting, because this pastor was really just like expositing. He's really actually not expositing, but really exegeting this. And he had premised his entire sermon, all the points that were in it, all the illustrations on this verse that he was camping on. And so when my dad got home, he looked it up, and it was from the Message translation, and it was this verse. So he had looked it up, he found it, and then he tried to find it in a different version, and it wasn't there because the Message is not a translation, it's a paraphrase. So it's Eugene Peterson rephrasing and restating and
Like in
retelling the
other
story.
words, yeah.
Yeah, and he was retelling the story, and that portion was not in the Bible that Eugene Peterson was writing.
And
It was
he's
just sort
preaching
of
it
his
as
extra
scripture.
fluff. Yeah.
Oh,
And,
and he's preaching it like
and this
it's the
guy had
inerrant
built an
word.
entire sermon expositing and exegeting the filler that
Ooh.
he had in there.
Yeah, you don't
So,
want to do that. If you
I
read from
mean,
it, just don't preach from it. Yeah, if nothing
yeah,
else,
and
don't
so,
preach from
but
it.
it was real popular when I was like in high school,
That's
coming out of high school. The Message was like everyone was using it. Hillsong was using
yeah.
it a lot. I remember the church that, I was at when I came back to the Lord, they were using it. That if they didn't use that as like the one that was up on there, they would have it as like sort of a side by side. They would turn to it later. And so,
Hmm.
folks, don't get me wrong. I've been part of that. I understand that it could be used in a good way. That being said, use the NLT instead.
Yeah,
So,
100%. I love the NLT. Endorsed,
yeah, yeah,
100%.
endorsed. Understand that that's a paraphrase, and that it's just going to be good for letting you understand the stories of the Bible. Yeah. So, all right,
Yeah,
I think we pretty much got this.
nailed it for sure.
Another little light one that we'll go to here, but is very controversial. Harry Potter ripped off Star Wars.
Ooh. Do you care about either of these?
Hmm.
I'm just trying to
I'm
think.
gonna say that you would say yes, actually.
Um,
I
Party
feel
wants to be
like you're
like, I think
spicy
Mike would
enough to
say, I
have that
don't
sort
care.
of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like you'd be like, I don't, why is this a question? I feel like, but, I would say, I think you would say no.
You're correct. Am I correct?
You said yes for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
But
don't
I have a
know.
qualified yes. But
Yeah, I
I
just
know you
don't
feel
think
like,
that I don't know if the author of Harry Potter followed Star Wars enough to really rip it off. I
right.
think she
Well,
accidentally ripped it off.
yeah. But you know what? When it comes, but this is the joke. Um, do I think Harry Potter ripped off Star Wars? I've heard a lot of things about it.
Yeah, there's a
Um,
lot of there's a lot of
there are a lot
connections
of,
there.
but you know what? I think Hollywood people have been ripping plots. That's the
Yeah,
difference. Plots have been ripped off left and right. You copy. I mean, I think there's
it's a
what? How
basic
many?
way to tell a story.
Yeah, I'm just there's like I'm trying to think of the major plots. Like it comes down to like the genres, right? There's like the same basic plot for
Hmm.
um if it's a horror movie, like it's gonna fit this basic plot. A heist movie, it's probably gonna have this with the you know the double whatever.
Yeah.
Um
I'm gonna
and
be honest.
yeah,
I don't even remember Harry Potter that much. Like I like it. I think it's a fun little story.
yeah,
But
um
when movies go across 9 movies, I
yeah.
don't remember any of it. My
No,
brain either can can take it all in or it takes none of it in. So, I can't even remember Lord of the Rings because it's too long.
Well, I think they're also like it's not even just like the movies. I think they're also trying to like you think okay when George Lucas
Mhm.
like when the books were written versus when the Harry Potter books were written, and then you think of the plot where it's like oh look a young boy who never got to meet his real parents has to
Yeah.
live with his aunt and uncle, and then he gets called away to this special like see how it like this is what I
Oh,
mean. He
yeah,
gets
yep,
called
yep,
away to
yep.
this special school to learn this special power. Like Harry's got magic, then you have like the Force, and then he's got
Yeah.
to defeat evil, like not Darth Vader. Like think about it, not Darth Vader, but Voldemort. Oh, you should not be named. Okay, and it's good versus evil, and then like think about it, you learn. Oh, you're like sorry for spoilers. Darth Vader, Luke, I am your father. Voldemort, Harry, you're the last and you gotta die.
Like we're linked
We're
in a
linked.
very magical way.
Yes, a
Yeah.
magical way. Yeah, exactly. And then you, all the,
Yeah, there's
see how I
certainly
just
a
did
lot
it?
there.
Like, yeah, there is. And did Harry Potter like rip off Star Wars? Um, well, I like being fun and go, yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna be that conspiracy theorist. I'll go down that rabbit
I
hole. And
respect it.
and this is the person's like I love the Harry Potter movies. Like when October rolls around and it's rainy out, it's like, all right, well, it used to be ABC Family.
Hmm.
Then they weren't about family anymore and they became Freeform. Uh, and it's like, oh, well, it's okay. I bought it all on DVD, so I don't have to give you my viewership anymore. Yay. But I like Star Wars more as well. Not even like the Star Wars nerd. I think I like it more.
Okay.
You're a nerd either
Um,
way. So
yeah, I mean
like,
you
well, I
are.
try to be a proud
I
nerd.
liked both of them. I'm one of those guys. I don't really have a bone to pick with like magical things. I know there's quite a few people that maybe they come out of like a cult or some witchcraft background or they just really want to stay away from that and they have these convictions. Um, I mean, I just always really find it interesting that the people that say like you can't read Harry Potter and be Christian are the same people that really love Lord of the Rings because it's J.R.R. Tolkien, which
Right.
has wizardry and stuff, all of that.
Both
It's
are
just done in
fiction.
Christ. Yeah, and then Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, The
Yeah,
Witch.
CS lives all day. Yeah.
So like we have that stuff,
Beavers don't
and
talk.
the thing is, can you enjoy the imagination, right? And so
Hmm.
I have watched Harry Potter and I enjoy it, and I have watched Star Wars and I enjoy it, but I've never really been like such a diehard fan. It's just more of like it's a series and a movie that I think is entertaining.
Are you not entertained? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
I haven't really gotten into the whole fanfare of it, but entertaining. I don't
yeah.
know. Yeah, I wouldn't say they necessarily ripped each other off.
Like I'm not like I'm gonna die on this hill where it's like if anything I'm ever known for in my life is that I was a faithful witness to the treachery of what was her name? J.K. Rowling.
Yeah,
Like no. Like and she still had to be creative in the sense of making up her own characters and all that.
right.
I just like let's fan the flame for the um
For sure. Well, all
100%.
right. I think we have enough time for one more question on this episode, and then we're gonna
Make
go
it a
ahead and
good
cut
one.
this, and then you guys will join us
Mhm.
next week for the second episode with the second list of questions. We're, I think, not even halfway through the list, so we'll have to cut it down a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, we'll cut it.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, but this next one, oh man. Okay. So this next one, the next question is, Reckless Love is a good worship song.
hmm.
I think I have my answer for you.
It doesn't really matter what I think, does it, Mike? Hmm. I think. What is
I'm
Michael
like,
thinking? Can a pastor read another pastor's thoughts? Yes or no? All right. I think.
I really like threw you off
Yeah.
with the aliens one, so
And I know you weren't trying to. It just
And
got
you're
me
like the
thinking.
ones
That's
that
what
you
happens. Now I'm
qualify
thinking.
and the ones that you don't are throwing me off. So I feel like I've been getting them wrong with you a lot because I don't know which one you're gonna nuance and which one
Oh,
you're not.
yeah. I know. That's the thing. I'm like, are we even friends anymore? Okay. Okay. I think I got your answer.
Okay.
I
I'm
think
gonna
I actually
say
I'm probably so wrong. I think I got your
I'm just throwing. Honestly, I feel like it's a heads or tails flip with you on this one
okay.
because I don't know if you'd nuance this. So
Bing.
I'm gonna say that you wouldn't nuance it, and you would say
Okay.
no, it's not a good song.
Okay. I'm going no nuance. You're saying no also.
All right. So you
Well,
are
I said
correct.
also.
Am I
So
correct?
I said also. That kind of gave it away. But yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't like the song at all. I don't think you could redeem calling God reckless.
Oh, thank you very
Reckless
much.
is a negative connotation. That
You
means
mean
it is,
careless?
yeah, it is reckless by definition is a negative thing. It is something that like you do not want. And so what we are doing is we are ascribing a negative trait to God and saying
Mhm.
that God's love is reckless. It is without any thought of his actions. It is not wise. It is not good. It is a recklessness. And so it's like, oh, well, maybe poetically I could juxtapose a love, which is good
And
in
the
what we want
intention, yeah.
with
But
recklessness. But frankly, I don't think it's ever a good thing to call God reckless.
I'm a reckless father.
I think that's
I'm a
reckless
reckless
writing.
husband. Yeah, reckless writing. That's
I
good.
think that's I think that's reckless writing of lyrics. But I don't think that God is reckless with his
No,
love. In fact, I think he is very
intentional,
ordered
sweet.
with his love, so much so that he not only prophesied it in Genesis 3:24, I think it is,
Sweet.
but he maintained it. He built a covenant from it. He built a Levitical system from it so that he could be properly identified as the sacrificial lamb when he came in corporeal body, that is Jesus of Nazareth. And he lived the perfect life, discipling many people, not just the 12, but over 500, and then died specifically on a cross when he could have saved himself and came back to show that he was indeed God. And then ascended back to the Father, and the Holy Spirit came
Yeah.
down. And he is still sovereign in the workings of man today. He's not reckless, he is in fact very ordered and a very sovereign. In such a thing we do not say of the divine king. And so I say for that, it disqualifies it as a good worship song because it's bad theology. And Dave, would you
It's
add anything?
sorry, it's like that Christian Bale meme where he's like, ooh, ooh. Like, oh man, it's so good, y'all. Like everyone on Spotify's like, okay, Dave's just like yelling into the mic, like, yes, like, yes, I am a no. Uh, I try to like kind of be sympathetic. Like the intention behind the song is like they're
Right.
overwhelmed by God's love. Great, you're overwhelmed, and he does pursue us, and like there isn't anything that will stop the Lord from finding his sheep, bringing them home, and nothing, you know what I mean? Nothing's going to separate you from the love of God. Nothing's going to keep you from the love of God if he's at, you know what I mean? If he's for you and after you, ain't nothing getting in his way. But that's not reckless. Like you said, that's actually very intentional,
Yeah.
not careless whatsoever. And I mean, think about what we say the Bible is the story of redemption, God's plan of redemption. Literally, that's the opposite of being reckless. To have a plan, you know,
Yeah.
it's actually very very calculated. And talking to the Reform guy, Presbyterian guy that loves the understand, God's sovereignty, an understanding of His election, like those things, like had a plan, like
Yeah.
nothing even like I even like I try not to do like hyper, like God has a plan, and I'm like has a plan, had a plan. Like it's before the foundation. I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not the poster boy. Like before the foundations of the world were laid. Like nothing's catching him by surprise.
Right.
He is not reckless, and I understand the emotion of the song. That like, hey, this is how we want you to feel about the Lord in the sense of I want you to feel so loved by Him. But here's my this is my I think this might be a way to redeem it.
Hmm.
There's a lot of other lyrics, but if nothing else, the chorus. Okay,
Yeah, I
I just
think.
like here. No,
Yeah,
I have a solution, real quick.
okay, yeah, go
I think I
ahead.
have a solution. Okay, has just as many syllables and is way more biblical. You ready, Hillsong? Hear me out. Get rid of reckless and just put steadfast, and that'd be great. I want to hear about
Yeah,
the
yeah,
overwhelming,
that would work.
never-ending, steadfast love of God.
Or even gracious.
No, I like steadfast.
Yeah, steadfast would
I'm
work. I
sorry,
think no, I think
like
it
that.
would work with the rhythm.
It would
Steadfast love. I
overwhelming,
think
never-ending.
gracious, the guttural sound of the G
Oh,
would be
gracious love of
would
God.
I just
Yeah, you're the
maybe wouldn't.
singer.
Yeah, I don't think it would sound good on a microphone. I think
Grr.
steadfast would be better.
Well, 'cause I know like when like you have the prayer of Moses, right?
But like
You are the God
theologically, both of those,
abounding in steadfast
yeah,
love.
both of those would serve better than reckless and convey the exact message that you're trying to convey. I think
Just
if you
saying.
did that, you're right. That would actually be a good worship song. But then it wouldn't be reckless love.
No, it'd be, hey, want to listen to steadfast love?
Yeah, it'd be different.
And it's oh gosh,
And some
because it's
people
the
really
same
like that
message.
about that song. They love
I know.
the idea of reckless love, right? And so that's
Yeah.
that's the problem, right? Because that's
Mm,
what we're saying the problem is. It's bad theology, and people enjoy the idea of reckless love, love without care, thought, or any of that, and that's what we're striving against. That's bad theology because God's love is not reckless in that it's very gracious in that it overabounds, it overwhelms, and it extends to everyone, but it is not without thought, not without due. In the moment that we start bringing God off his pedestal of like, he's reckless, he's
like reckless
uncautious,
driving.
he's
Like,
forgetful, right? The
hmm
forgetting love of God, right? He
ugh,
forgets our sins. Or in the moment I start attributing all these negatives to God is the moment that I stop viewing him as God, the transcendent God over my life, and more as the friend who can, have mistakes. In the
yeah, I don't
moment I
like that.
start viewing him as a friend that can make mistakes and be just as, human as I am in my mistakes is the moment that I can start doing other things with theology, right?
Mm,
And so I think it's just not a good thing to be teaching and understanding your God as.
Would we call that reckless endangerment?
Yeah, I'd call
I'm
that
just kidding.
yeah, I'd call that reckless theology.
Yeah. Maybe if they had a W in front of reckless, as in he doesn't wreck.
He
Maybe
never
that would
wrecks.
work
He
too.
always stays the
Never
course. He
wrecking.
avoids wrecking
Dude,
his
like best
car and
drive
all of
ever. Yeah.
that.
Well done.
Well, all right. We have been here for about an hour now, folks, and we have covered just 8 questions
Just under,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, just
We'll be
pretty much
okay.
8 questions. We have more questions. These are going to be pretty controversial. I'm thinking about throwing out a couple of those lighter questions just so that
hmm
we can just continue to hammer through. I hope you're enjoying this because we're going to see you guys next week with more of this content as we are taking on some of these controversial statements. Some of them are pretty fun, and some of them are just, are kind of our thoughts, and some of these could be episodes in and of themselves. And so we're going to try and stay good on not going too far into each and every one of them, but also giving you a bit of that content. So go ahead and like, share, subscribe. Let us know what you thought about this in the comments, and we look forward to seeing you next week. So until then, Godspeed.